There's nothing left.
Tonight, leaning on faith when hope is tested. By air, by foot, and bare hands, rescuers and volunteers race to find any signs of life as the death toll in the Central Texas flash floods grows.
She started to scream out loud.
The investigation. Was there enough warning?
Until we can get reunited with our families,
but
we are not going to
stop. Sir, there are families who deserve better than that.
And the governor, he said he's listening.
We know that parents and families, they want information. They want closure.
The death toll now in the 80s, and it is expected to rise, but it's their faces, their ages that frankly may hurt the most, just children. Tonight, we are sharing some of the North Texans, the youngest victims, right here. The best buddies from Highland Park, Lila Bonner and Eloise Peck. They were enjoying summer camp. The young lady right here, this is Janie Hunt, also part of the Camp Mystic crew, described as brave and sweet. And right here in the middle, that is Hadley Hannah, that little girl listed as missing still. And over here, they're the sisters, Blair and Brooke Harbor from Dallas. They were camping along the Guadalupe with their grandparents. All of it devastating. Tonight, rescue efforts, the heartache, and the search for answers continues. We begin our coverage with our Ken Molestina, who is live in Kerrville.
Yeah, Steve, good evening to you and good evening to everyone in North Texas, everyone watching us here on CBS News Texas, 10 o'clock here on this Sunday night. This is the third night now. We are live coming to you from the Emergency Operations Center here in Kerrville. This is the area where crews still at this late hour are deploying from to try and find anyone throughout the night that they might possibly find alive here in the Guadalupe River, which is just a couple of feet behind me. It's something that is very interesting to point out is that at this point, they are still calling this a rescue effort, but we also know that as the hours move on and as we now move into the fourth day tomorrow, this will at some point shift into a recovery effort. Folks, I want to bring you up to speed with the latest numbers that we were informed of here tonight. So once again, 81 deaths right now being reported across this entire region. So this is going to be Kerr County as well as other neighboring counties. Just in Kerr County alone, we're being told that the death toll right now sits at 68 as of last check. And that is made up of 40 adults and 28 children. We also understand that tonight, at this late hour, there are still 11 people unaccounted for, and that breaks down to 10 campers and 1 counselor. So again, with these numbers, this now becomes the second deadliest flooding event in Texas history. Number one was back in 1921 when 215 people died in that tragic event. And this is something that now has caught the attention, as you would imagine, of people not just here in Texas, but really throughout the country and throughout the globe. Earlier today, President Donald Trump also spoke about this devastation down here, and he had this to say. Have a listen.
It's a horrible thing that took place. Absolutely horrible. So we say God bless all of the people that have gone through so much, and God bless the state of Texas.
In light of the floods, do you think that the federal government needs to hire back any of the meteorologists who were fired in the last few months?
I wouldn't know that. I really wouldn't. I would think not. This was the thing that happened in seconds. Nobody expected it. Nobody saw it. Very talented people are there, and they didn't see it. It's, I guess they said, once in 100 years, they've never seen anything like this.
We do know that there are many federal assets that have been deployed here to Kerrville to help out with this operation. We have seen members even from the FBI, the U.S. Coast Guard, even the Army out here, something that the White House has sort of promised and committed to continue to have a presence down here as this operation continues. Folks, I want to take a moment now to talk a little bit about the mood. Again, this is day 3 now. We're moving into day 4 and still 11 people unaccounted for. Again, this death toll, just a staggering number, 81 people people, and just as every hour goes by, the death toll seems to go up. And that has now caused a lot of frustration for so many folks, not just the sheer devastation of it and just the death toll itself, but now there's sharp criticism that is being pointed specifically at local officials here in Kerr County. And the reason for that is because we're now hearing that there were, in fact, warnings that took place even 2 days before the flooding by the Texas Division of Emergency Management, warning that something was coming. TDEM even deployed some of their own resources ahead of what was about to come here because of the threat that existed. Quite frankly, we are not getting the answers tonight that we are looking for through the questions that we're asking of local officials as to why folks were not evacuated, why, with some of this prior knowledge of what was about to happen, why there weren't some preemptive measures taken to try and save more people. I want you to take a listen to an exchange that I had earlier today with a local official here in the city of Kerr addressing that very point. We were trying to get that same question answered. Have a look and take a listen to how that all went.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here today.
At a Sunday news conference, we tried once again to get answers to why there were no evacuations ordered, despite warnings from the Texas Division of Emergency Management. On their website, TDEM posted a full news release on July 2nd saying they were activating emergency response resources to the area because of flood threats. They even outlined the assets that were being deployed to include rescue task forces.
One of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this is, despite TDEM's warning on July 2nd and July 3rd that something like this could have happened, that the threat existed, why that information didn't get down to the camps and why they weren't evacuated. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families.
Kerrville City Manager Dalton Rice didn't answer the question, neither did the sheriff. Then the news conference abruptly ended.
Sir, there are families who deserve better than that.
How high it came and how fast it came.
Brent and Jessica Mason live right near the Guadalupe River and told us they're upset at officials not answering the question 3 days into the tragedy.
Those questions need to be answered, but my prayers do go out to them. My heart feels for them.
We can prevent we can't prevent a flash flood, but we can definitely work on getting a better evacuation system, for something like this in the future.
This just speaks to the fierceness of the floodwaters.
Yeah, and this is like mild actually. And if you go up there, like where the canyon is, it just wiped everything out.
I caught up with Congressman Chip Roy of Kerrville, who says you can assure federal officials are also wanting to know the same.
I have no doubt that we'll be having the appropriate conversations that need to be had, both federal, state, and local. We've got plenty that we need to do there.
He adds an oversight committee will likely investigate as well. But for right now, he says the main focus should be on the continuing rescue and recovery efforts of victims.
But what I do know is these are things that we need to do to go through and figure out the answers in the future. But right now, let's just focus on the operations here.
And again, those were the comments you just heard. That was Chip Roy, Representative Chip Roy, talking about a congressional oversight committee. Also, at some point, will look into this response and will hopefully investigate that very question as to why there weren't evacuations ordered when there was some sort of forewarning. This is something that Governor Abbott also addressed earlier today at a news conference that he gave in Austin. And the governor at the time did say that there will be a special session now that will take place. And in that special session, he is also interested in finding out the answers to that question, again, of why the evacuations didn't take place.